smell coming from under that grate? What a wonderful smell of rubbish. There's absolutely nothing I want in there, and I'm certainly not going to become a garbage collector. It's a puddle full of rubbish. 2 buttons, a piece of shoelace, some papers, etc. Okay, I'll have a closer look at it. It's an old shoelace or something like that. Okay, I'll pick up the piece of shoelace, but I'll leave the rest of the stuff there. A piece of an old wet shoelace. It's a pile of wet, rotten wood. Two old empty gas pumps. A bush filled with rubbish. This yogurt pot is still sealed. I'll pick it up, but don't ask me to eat it, okay? Looks like a kind of school science experiment lost by some careless kid. This is what I call recycling. A fridge abandoned in the middle of the road. There's an old melted strawberry ice lolly inside the freezer. Someone crazy must have thought that this was the best place to keep it, even if the fridge isn't on. Let's hope I don't get dirt all over my trousers. I prefer orange flavor. My unique two-wheel transport.
The end of the world. The end is near, I tell you. Oh, holy God, save us all. And flames will fall from the sky. The light will burn our eyes, and the darkness will fall for years. Run! Find yourself a shelter! Run!
Hey there. Do you want a couple of pounds? You don't look very well.
What? Are you mad? What are you doing outside? Find a shelter, quick, or hell will fall upon you.
Can I use your shelter, please?
No. This machine was brought here on a rainy night years ago by some government secret agents. They know. They know everything. It's all their fault. This machine is made of special alien metal. Nobody will survive, but I will. This is my shelter. It's mine. Ah! Go away! Away!
God, one can smell your booze breath all over the street.
So Jesus said, "This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is poured out for you."
Maybe a couple of glasses of wine would make this stinky devil a bit friendly. This ID photo machine seems to be the only thing that's still working in this area. First, I must distract the tramp, otherwise he might attack me for entering his home without permission. Looks like someone has thrown a dozen bottles on the floor here. One of the bottles is still intact. An empty, stinky bottle. I haven't cut myself and I'm not dying, so one of the bottles really was intact. Dirty, but intact. Not only does it look abandoned, but someone has also set it on fire. It would be a miracle to find anything intact inside it. As I said, it's a miracle. This must have been the car of a very religious English man. It's a miracle this thing didn't burn in the car. And it works. It's nearly full of water. It almost looks like wine. It's a little wooden stick. Perfect! The smell and the consistence are similar to a chateau of 1984. Expired. I can see something glittering down there. It's probably a coin, but I can't identify it from here. A magnetic fishing rod. I'm rich!
this is a nightmare. A nightmare, I say. Hey, wait a sec. What's that? It's a bottle. It's a bottle of wine. Thank God. A bottle has been saved and I got hold of it. I must. I have to take it to a safer place. It's mine. Give it to me. It's all mine. My precious bottle.
That tramp would have won an Oscar. If only he didn't believe in the crazy things he's saying.
The end of the world. The end is near, I tell you. Oh, holy God, save us all. And flames will fall from the sky. The light will burn our eyes, and then darkness will fall for years and years. Clouds of venom on us all. Run! Find yourself a shelter. Run!
I need a coin. One of those silly coins that usually fall in the dark depths of a street grate or stuff like that. The curse of the awful ID photos has fallen on me too.
You got the ID photo?
Here it is.
Great. I'll start working on your passport straight away then.
See you later.
Luckily, I managed to get into the garden through the back without being seen. It didn't take Coletti long to park his guard dogs outside my house. I mustn't let those two bobbies see me. I'll have to think of a way of getting into the house without making them suspicious. It's an old tool shed that George uses to keep his stuff in. There's so many bits and pieces in here that I can't even open the door. Ha! Those look like the gloves our gardener George uses when he works here. They're certainly not the newest gloves I've ever seen, but they could come in handy. They're old and dirty, but I think I'll find a way to use them. The glass door of the balcony is open. Locked. My wonderful climbing roses. I haven't got much time. I have to find my fake passport, and while I'm here, it would be nice if I found my digital camera, too. My father's bedroom. my dad's private lift. My favorite couch. During my free time, I lay here in my pajamas for hours and hours. If I remember well, I was here with Jane and Claire last time I used my digital camera. Yes, here it is. This little thing always manages to hide in the most unthinkable places. My budget digital camera. When I was little, my mom used to teach me how to play on this piano. Our computer. Papers, documents, and other stuff. Knowing my father, there could be an original copy of the Magna Charta around here. My fake passport. It's not the Magna Carta, but it'll surely be more useful. Robert's best work.
Welcome back, Kat. I've sorted out your friend's passport, okay? Now he'll be known as Daniel Brown.
Actually, I'd have preferred something a bit more classic, like John Smith or Mr. Johnson.
Jonathan, this is no time to...
The name's Daniel, if you don't mind.
Okay, Daniel. There were only 2 policemen posted outside my house. Getting in through the window was child's play. Coletti must have thought we'd never be so stupid to go back to my father's house. Unfortunately, though, my father has been arrested by Scotland-Yard. There are scores of police looking for us everywhere. It's Damien. He's got some news.
Welcome back, you two. I found some interesting things on the parchment.
Have you found something that'll help us frame Coletti?
I'm afraid we're not going to frame Coletti with this information. But at least we're beginning to find out what Frank was working on. This isn't actually a parchment, it's a piece of cloth. It's part of the relic that's kept in Chartres Cathedral. On the night of June 10th, 1194, Chartres Cathedral and the surrounding town were set on fire. Even today, the cause for the fire is still not known. Many historians have put forward theories, and one of these is that it was an extremist secret cell of Cathars who started the fire. So I kept track and discovered that the Cathars were a sect that had a fair amount of support from different social classes, especially the poor at that time. The sect, however, was also supported by some of the middle classes who only sided with the Cathars to oppose the enormous power of the clergy.
I think I've read something about the Cathars in some history book. I was reading it for fun.
The word Cathar appeared for the first time between 1152 and 1156 in the Sermons contra Catharos by Egbert of Schono. Initially, Catharism proliferated in the south of France and subsequently in Roccaviona in northern Italy. The Cathars professed a spiritual belief that was in opposition to that of the Church. Catharism didn't accept the authority of the Church and took advantage of the general discontent of the population who believed that the Church was incoherent and corrupt at that time. Catharism stated that one was responsible for his own salvation through knowledge, morality, and a pure way of life. They believed in the doctrine of reincarnation as well as other similar things. After having tried to make peace with the various sects, the Church started a brutal war that led to the elimination of Catharism. Today, many historians believe that in some of the more extreme Cathar factions, The members were forced to give up all their belongings to the leaders of these sects. The followers, in fact, had to renounce all material things because they believed that evil lied in the material goods. Only a few people really know the truth about some extremist Cathar factions. It is believed that they thought they had a legitimate right to put up a violent, armed resistance, and while following these convictions, they fought not only against the Crusades and the Church, but against anything that wasn't in agreement with their beliefs.
So this allowed them to behave any way towards anything. Their doctrines permitted destruction and robbery. Is that right?
That's right, Kat. Their belief that any material thing was intrinsically evil found its focal point in the idea that Christ was an angel, but the human Christ who ended up on the cross was a material being and therefore had to be a demon.
That's certainly an original idea. A complete distortion of the values of good and evil based on the material and the abstract. I must admit that these people are interesting. Above all, this might help us to understand the mysterious rituals that the journalists keep talking about in relation to these recent murders.
Precisely. However, where were we? Yes. That's how the middle classes suddenly found themselves with enormous amounts of money given to them by the followers of the sect. And as if this wasn't enough, the more extreme factions had an army of soldiers ready to kill, destroy, or steal to prove that all material possessions were evil. The middle classes had this terrifying weapon pointed straight at the church.
Okay, I'm with you up to now. But why would they have burned down the Cathedral of Chartres? And above all, why would my uncle have had to protect a fragment of the relic?
The presence of these symbols on the cloth makes me think that the whole relic is covered with coded information. This doesn't really surprise me, as it seems that the relic was one of the many treasures of the Knights Templar.
So the Knights Templar are involved in this story too?
Not directly. As you know, the Knights Templar used to hide their secrets using ambigrams the majority of the people couldn't understand. So I believe the Cathars wanted to destroy the relic so that its secret wouldn't be passed on.
The Imago Sanctissimus. That must be the secret.
Let's not jump to conclusions. I haven't found anything that indicates what this Imago Sanctissimus really is. But taking into account what we've just found out, it may be a possible hypothesis. We could try doing some research in a library in London to see if something interesting comes up.
I can take care of that.
It's becoming a bit too dangerous for me and Kat to stay in London, and I don't even know my way around here. While Coletti is around, I'd certainly better not go out shopping. He's the one with the upper hand right now, as he knows more about this than we do, and he won't give up until he's got the contents of that safe deposit box. I can't go to the airport. It'll be crowded with policemen, and they know what I look like.
You're right, Jonathan. You'd better start packing for a lovely trip to Chartres. So you'll be away from London for a while, and you'll also be able to do some research on the relic and the Cathars. Go to this address and say we've sent you. Ask for Alan. He's our night flyer.
Right. Damien, you go to my uncle's house and see if Coletti has left any clues behind, or anything else that might be useful. You're the only one of us who isn't wanted, so hopefully the police won't pay any attention to you. Here are the keys.
Right. Everyone agree? Let's keep the communicator switched on and hope that good old Alan will get us 2 tickets for Chartres as soon as possible.
Aren't you coming with us?
No, I'll be of more use here in London while you're in France.
Good luck.
God, Coletti has really lost his mind. He has to be stopped. Sometimes Frank and I listen to old music on this gramophone. He really was a good friend. here's my best friend, Frank's new laptop. Let's see if I can find something useful in here. Damn, I need the password. Maybe Joe knows it. I never managed to find out from Frank what it was. Maybe I should try asking Joe for the password. Maybe Joe knows the answer. That was quick. Full of useful stuff. My little hacking program never fails me, and here's something Kat will find interesting. The titles of the books that Frank wanted to study for his investigation. Let's hope Kat will manage to find those books.
Here, pussy, pussy, pussy. What are you doing here? One thing is for sure. Either all the cats in England look the same, or this cat is the one I saw at Frank's. This seems to be the only way to get inside Alan's hangar. I can't open it. It's locked. It looks like they were put here recently. Aha! This is how you open this bloody gate. This must be Alan's airplane.
Who are you? If you're an American terrorist, go away. This is a private airport, and I don't sell flights to Americans. Understand?
I guess you're Alan, right?
It depends who's asking.
I'm a friend of Katrin and Damien's. They told me to come here.
I've never seen you around here before. Usually the legacy chooses its friends wisely, and you don't look very special. If Damien or Kat needed my help, I'm sure they'd come here themselves.
Look, I've got this special communicator that Damien gave me.
I don't understand anything about all this high-tech junk. Who says it's not a bomb, or simply a new kind of cell phone? You'll need to find a better proof to convince me that you work for the legacy.
See you later.
That's one of Robert's fake passports, right? Let me have a look. Yes, it's definitely one of Robert's. This means you probably really have been sent here by Damien and Kat. What do you need?
Finally. I was starting to doubt I'd ever manage to convince you. We need to get away from London for some time.
Okay. Where do you want to go?
We need to fly to Chartres in France. We have to study its cathedral.
Okay. Now, the only problem is to find a new spark plug for my plane.
Sorry, but can't you just order it?
Sure, pigs might fly. Have you had a look at my plane? It's a one-of-a-kind model. I built it piece by piece more than 20 years ago. Finding spare parts for it is not so easy nowadays.
You build it piece by piece?
Sure, but it's a long story. And stop pulling that face. It flies perfectly.
Where can we find this piece you need, then?
One night, I caught a group of drunken boys playing around my plane. I sent them away shouting and screaming, but I wasn't quick enough. They had already stolen the spark plug. Don't ask me why. I really can't understand how the minds of those idiots work.
Do you know where I can find them?
Probably in a pub or a disco, trying to find the newest drug, or worse.
I'll see you later, Alan. A rubbish bin. It looks like a used canister that once contained ammonia. I really must stop robbing stuff from rubbish bins. It seems like there's still a bit of ammonia in here. It's closed. Hunter's Blue Skies Tavern. This sign seems to have been built with pieces of engines or things like that. If it really was an engine, now it's so rusty it definitely won't work anymore. How strange. The central part seems to move if I press it. Aha! An old spark plug. Just what I was looking for. This is what Alan is looking for his airplane.
Great! I hope you gave those idiots a lesson in good manners. It'll take me a couple of hours to prepare my plane.
Okay, see you in a couple of hours then.
See you later, boy. Thanks. You did a great job. I misjudged you.
No problem at all. It was a pleasure.
Great, the lights are still on. It's the library's bulletin board.
Can I help you, miss?
Are you the caretaker?
I'm the librarian.
The Mysteries of the Knights Templar by Wooden Gutenberg. The Secret Book of Epicures by Francesca Eteri and Imago Prodicio Divinum by an anonymous French.
Okay, the books you are looking for are somewhere in this shelf, but I haven't got time to look for them right now. I'm creating a huge digital database containing all our books, and as you see, everything here is in a mess. If you leave me a note with the titles and a phone number, I'll contact you tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning? But I need them now. If they're in this shelf, it'll take you just a couple of minutes to find them.
Listen, I'm really busy making a catalog of all these books, and if I stop right now, a whole day's work could be ruined. Come back tomorrow.
If you're that busy, I can look for the books by myself. I just need the ladder for 10 minutes.
This is the only ladder in the library. The chancellor has already ordered some new ones, but they haven't arrived yet. So, no. I've got a lot of work to do, and I can't stay here chit-chatting with you.
I'm going now, but don't worry, I'll be back.
I had no doubt of that.
A wobbling pile of books. Done. And now someone must pick them up. Librarian!
I'm too busy right now. I'll pick them up later.
I have to find another way to distract the librarian. Students use this station to listen to music or watch documentaries inside the library. It's showing a documentary. Looks like the same old documentary on the Second World War. It looks like there's a mouse hole hidden behind this fire extinguisher. Great idea. The Mysteries of the Knights Templar. This is one of the books I was looking for. This is one of the books I was looking for. This is one of the books I was looking for. The Secret Book of Epicures. This is one of the books I was looking for. At last, we found plenty of interesting stuff here.
Tell me everything.
The Imago Sanctissimus is one of the most obscure and mysterious artifacts in the history of mankind, but references to it can be found in many myths and legends. Many people think that the Imago Sanctissimus is nothing but the Holy Grail. Others think it's the Holy Shroud kept in Turin. Actually, all these interpretations are wrong and derive from a simple mistake in translation. The term Imago Sanctissimus in fact comes from an even older name, Imago Prodigio Divinum. The word prodigio can be interpreted as manifestation, but also as betrayal. If we imagine that the original name of the Imago Sanctissimus was Imago Prodigio, this would mean that the Imago Sanctissimus was a symbol of betrayal. And which was the most famous betrayal in history?
Judas.
Exactly. And if we compare this fact to the old legend, I think we can safely say that the Imago Sanctissimus was a medallion, and more precisely the medallion forged from the 30 pieces of silver that Judas received to betray Jesus Christ. But it doesn't end here. Many ancient writings led me to believe that the famous secret of life is hidden inside the Imago Sanctissimus. It looks like Jesus Christ wanted to repay that awful betrayal with an infinite act of love. Reveal to humanity the secret of life. But only if mankind would have been worth it.
That's all?
Yeah, I think so.
So they killed Uncle Frank because they believed he knew where the Imago Sanctissimus was.
And knowing Frank, he's probably up there looking down on us and trying to give us a hand to find it. We have to work out what these symbols on the cloth mean and also find the rest of it.
I'd say the moment has come for a little trip to France. Alan's waiting for us.
Excellent. I'll try to find as much information as possible about these symbols. If you need anything at all, call me on the communicator, and I'll do my best to help you from here.
Thank you, Damien.
Have a safe journey.
Freeze! Don't move a muscle. I'd really like to know what you were doing at Frank Danter's house this evening. Now, follow me and don't make a sound.
It must be Damien. He's probably got some new information about the relic.
Hey, let's see. Listen to me, Kat. Let's try to keep calm. I know all of this is starting to seem like a nightmare, but if they found Damien, it won't take them long to find us, too. We can only hope that if we find out something new about the code on the relic, it'll help us work out what these extremists, the Cathars, or whoever they are up to. Otherwise, I'm afraid our trip to France could have an unhappy ending.
Joe, I don't want to think that Damien's been hung on that wall in such a brutal way. I've got to call Twinings, even though he's involved in this business, and tell him to go and take Damien's body down from that pool of blood.
Don't worry, I'll call him. You'd better go and find a hotel for the night, and try to relax. I promise you. We'll get the bastard who killed Damien. Up to now, no one knows we're here, except for Alan and Damien. And I'm sure Damien would never have betrayed us for any reason whatsoever.
Thanks, Joe. I know Damien was only someone you met a few hours ago, but I've known him for many years, and to think that...
Don't think about it now. First, we've got to save ourselves, and then we can mourn our lost friends. Be brave. We've still got quite a few things to do before we can go to sleep tonight.
Promise me you'll be careful.
Don't worry, I will be. This telephone box has certainly seen better days. The door is completely stuck. It looks like someone has kicked it in, or worse. It was probably smashed by a drunken fan after France lost the Soccer World Cup final. This telephone box is the only way I can get in touch with Twinings. An old tin of tomato sauce, probably expired. Yuck! This tomato sauce is really expired. What a smell! A tin full of tomato sauce. A small newsstand that'll be opening soon. It's a bench. Someone has forgotten his newspaper. It's a copy of the New York Gate. I never thought that people in France would read U.S. papers. Why not? They always say that reading is good for you. A good weapon against boredom. It's a very picturesque fountain. What a shame. No goldfish. Hey, what's that? Oh, it seems like someone has lost something very precious here. Okay then, you never know what could happen. The most evolved weapon against disease and babies. Wonderful rose window, beautiful enough to be in one of the most important cathedrals in the world. Cat's whiskers, it's locked. I don't know why, but around the most beautiful monuments, you'll always find work in progress signs that ruin the atmosphere. Let's have a closer look. Maybe I'll find something useful. Rudimentary, but always functional. A rusty metal bar. Now I really feel safe. This telephone box has certainly seen better days. The door is completely stuck. It looks like someone has kicked it in, or worse. See? With a bit of kindness, everything works out as it should. And look what we have here. A phone card with some credit left on it. Hello, Jonathan Dantera speaking.
Mr. Dantera, what a pleasure. In less than 48 hours, things have become quite complicated. In fact, I haven't had to deal with so many complications in years.
Chief Inspector, I'm not even sure that I can trust you, but right now, I've got no choice. You'll find the body of a man in one of the abandoned warehouses along the Thames. I've no idea who killed him. But I can tell you the murder of the 2 cops who were gunned down inside my uncle's house has nothing to do with me. It was Coletti.
You're making some very serious accusations, Mr. Dantera. And why should I believe you? Your fingerprints were on the gun. The best thing you can do now is to turn yourself in.
I know you need proof, and that's why I'm trying to collect some. But now, please, would you send someone to get the body of the poor man that someone killed down at the harbor?
Brown, this is Chief Inspector Twinings. Trace the call I've just received on my mobile and ring me the minute you've got any news.
It's a used telephone card. Is already checking that area, and they better not see us together. It's a street lamp. This statue doesn't seem as old as the rest of the cathedral. The statue has been placed on a small decorated stone column. Wait a sec. Those decorations look more like engravings to me. These strange engravings are some kind of alphabet. It looks as if this stone column could have been used as a stamp or something similar. I have to find a way to send this mysterious sentence to Kat. I could try with a photo of the column, but I don't think the letters would be visible. Done. Now the column is covered with tomato sauce. I'm a genius! Wonderful. A shame it's in Latin. Maybe if I took a photo of the newspaper I printed the Latin sentence on, I could send it to Kat. Kat told me she knows Latin quite well, didn't she?
wonderful statue of the Virgin Mary. Hey, I imagine it's always full of tourists during the day.
Good evening. What is a nice girl like you doing around so late?
I'm looking for a place to sleep.
Sorry, but I'm married, and my wife isn't ready for a ménage à trois.
A what? No. No, you've misunderstood. I'm just looking for a hotel.
Ah, now I understand. Well, let me tell you, there are a lot of nice places in Chartres where a beautiful girl like you can sleep. The nearest hotel is the Étoile de Neige. Straight down this road for 2 minutes, then turn right. Then turn left into Rue de Maison and take the third road on the right. I mean, you have to turn left in Place du Roi, and then turn right, and you reach Rue de Maison. Here, you have to turn left again, and then take the second road left near the fountain. Or was it the third? I always get confused there.
Yes, thanks. I think I've understood. He's a little too drunk to give directions.
Great! When you reach it, tell the innkeeper that you're my friend.
Are you always this nice to tourists?
My dear, this is my job. The best guide in the whole town. Maybe the best throughout France.
Then you're just the man I'm looking for. Can you tell me something about the old town? I'm especially interested in the legends about the Knights Templars.
Ha! Another treasure hunter, eh? Or are you only fascinated by mysteries?
A bit of both.
Well, my dear, then you came to the right place. Every brick of Chartres is connected to a mystery. Do you prefer the long or the short story?
The long one. I want to know everything there is to know.
Okay, then. Our story begins a long time ago. The day that I was born. Wait a second. This is not the story you asked for. Let me think. What was I saying?
The short story, please. I haven't got much time. Can you tell me of Mary's robes in the cathedral?
I see you know what you want. Good. As I'm sure you have read in one of those long and boring books about the mysteries of Chartres Cathedral, the original robes of the Virgin Mary are kept safe inside the cathedral. The cathedral was built according to some obscure Masonic formulas. They say that everything from the smallest stone to the biggest arch has been built following the proportions of the golden ratio.
What's the golden ratio?
It is also known as divine proportion. It's about the figure 1.618 and was discovered by the ancient Greeks. Scientists say that maybe everything that exists in the universe is linked to this number. For example, when you measure the distance from your navel to the ground and you multiply it by the golden ratio, you should find out your total height. The same is true with your forearm and your whole arm. Somebody once told me that even snowflakes follow the golden ratio. But honestly, I don't care as long as this golden ratio does not stop the local beer production.
This is really interesting, but can't you tell me something that most of the people don't know?
Usually, I keep this tale secret, and I only tell it to the most naive tourist. asking for a couple of beer as payment. But tonight, I've already drunk enough. And you've been nice to me, so I'll tell it for free. Near the cathedral, there's a little stone column. It was built years after the mighty fire burned down most of the ancient town and the cathedral itself in 1194. This is why the Knights Templar decided to start protecting all of Chartres' treasure. I read somewhere that around 1800, an old mad woman started to scream and shout that the column was talking to her, and it was telling that the most precious treasure of Chartres had been stolen. She was obviously imprisoned. Mysteriously, one night she managed to escape from prison and disappear. Nobody ever understood how she managed to knock down the two big guards in front of her cell. But there are the certain little mysteries that create legends. Don't you see?
Where is everybody? The town is so quiet.
The old town goes to sleep early at night. Usually, I'm already in bed at this time too, with my beautiful queen. Or I'd better say, my ugly mistress.
Thanks. See you later. It looks like a tourist booklet of Chartres. When I was a child, Grandpa always told me not to touch everything I saw. Hi, kids. Isn't it a bit late to be playing by yourselves in the street?
We're not kids.
Do your parents know that you're not in bed?
It's none of your business.
Okay. Sorry then. Can you at least tell me what you're doing out this late at night?
Nothing.
Why aren't you all dressed as knights?
Because my mom hasn't finished sewing the other robes.
What are your names?
Mom told us not to talk to strangers.
I'm looking for a hotel. Can you help me?
The others say that if you give us some sweets, we can tell you where the nearest hotel is.
I don't have any sweets with me, but you can tell the others that I'll give you a kiss if you help me.
The children whisper together for a few seconds. We've decided that you're beautiful enough, and anyway, we are knights, and our mission is to save all maidens in need of help. The nearest hotel is the Maison de Grèce. Follow this road and turn right twice. There's always a free room there. We spend hours in front of it, laughing at all the strange men and the silly women dressed in plastic skirts, with heavy makeup that go in and out.
Maybe it would be better to find another place to sleep. Why is one of you dressed like a Knights Templar?
The children whisper together for a few seconds. We're only going to tell you if you swear that you won't tell anybody else. We are Chartres Knights Templars. Everybody thinks that all the knights are dead, but we're still here to protect the town from awful dragons and nasty witches.
out so late?
It was Jean-Luc's birthday yesterday, and he's finally old enough to try to finish his knight's training with the last test. The trial of courage. This is the only way to become a real Knight Templar.
Shh! Stop telling her everything.
What is the trial of courage?
The children whisper together for a few seconds. Jean-Luc has to remain motionless in the darkness inside the cathedral, without screaming, crying, or running away for a whole minute.
In the cathedral? But how do you manage to get inside at night?
The children whisper together for a few seconds. It's the major secret of all secrets. One night, Josephine found out that one of the cathedral's windows is slightly broken. With a little stick or something similar, we can manage to open the window without anyone noticing. Promise you won't tell anyone.
On my honor, I swear.
Hey, miss! Our kiss.
Joe would probably be happy to know that. Okay, I've got to go now. Just try to keep out of trouble for a while, okay?
I'm almost certain this is the window Kat was talking about in her message. Here it is. This is the way I can get into the cathedral. I can't do that. There's too much light and someone might see me. Wait a sec. Those decorations look more like engravings to me. It's a stone. You've caught me. I've always had a passion for stones. A legendary stone. It's a street lamp. Bye-bye, condom. Not even a young Boy Scout could have done better. Perfect. Now I can move around without being seen. I'm almost certain this is the window Kat was talking about in her message. At least if Warren decides to fire me, I've got a future as a burglar. The little stick got broken, but with a bit of experience, you never know what I could manage to do. It looks like a labyrinth made of marble. cathedral's main entrance. It's locked, but it can be opened from inside. I've never understood why you always have to be so uncomfy inside churches. An altar with a beautiful wooden box in the middle of it. And here it is. These should be Mary's robes. Maybe these will finally help me solve the mystery of Uncle Frank's death.
What would make someone violate the house of God in that way?
Father, I'm not a thief.
But it only takes a second to become one, Mr.
Danter. My name's Jonathan Danter.
Danter. Are you by any chance Frank's nephew?
I see my uncle was famous in Europe. It seems that everyone knew him. What have you to do with him?
I heard about Frank's death on the news. I'm really sorry. I'm Father Dominique, and I was a good friend to your Uncle Frank.
Did Frank ever mention me when talking to you?
I knew that the only person that Frank really loved was his nephew. But he also told me he had to renounce to meet him. Frank often talked with me of how difficult it was for him to never see you again. But he was also happy to know you in a safe place.
And the only way to protect me was to feign his death? Telling the little boy that his uncle, one of the most beloved of relatives he had, was dead?
He told me it was the only way to be sure that you wouldn't have been in danger.
Uncle Frank was a man full of ideas and resources. He surely could have found another way to protect me without having to lie to me and the entire world.
Maybe you're right. But I believe Frank's main reason for disappearing was to protect you from himself.
Protect me from himself?
Exactly. One of the worst fears Frank had was that you would have followed him. He did everything he could to keep you out of this world full of danger, treachery and betrayal. But alas, the ways of God are infinite, and here you are, trying to continue what Frank's death has left unfinished.
The only true memories I have of Uncle Frank are those short summers I spent with him in London when I was a child.
What a shame, my child. Frank was a really great man.
Yes, he surely must have been. So many years. Wasted. And now the only thing I've got is this pocket watch he left me a long time ago.
In those years that you call wasted, you became who you are now. And maybe they have drawn you near Frank more than he ever could have done. In your eyes, I see his strength, his wit. Don't worry, my child. Frank now watches over you more than ever before.
When did you and my uncle meet for the first time?
It was many years ago. I remember the days when Frank lived here as if it was yesterday. We immediately became good friends. And like all good friends, we love to discuss. But please tell me, my child, what brings you here?
Uncle Frank knew something extremely important, and someone who discovered this secret wants to know everything about it. This murderer is killing everyone who could have any information about this story, and I'm not even sure of knowing what they're looking for. A corrupted policeman has killed 2 of his colleagues in London and has charged me for the murders. He has also sold the names of Frank and all his collaborators to some crazy psychotic assassin. That maniac is killing them, all of them. The only chance for me and my friend is to find out the secret Frank had discovered. Then, if we're lucky, maybe we find a way to get rid of all this mess.
I heard some disturbing news about mysterious deaths, but I really didn't imagine this problem was so extended. Because of my great friendship with Frank, I'll help you in every way I can. Now tell me, child, why were you looking for that relic?
I've got evidence that proves that this relic could be related to Frank's investigations. I found a piece of Mary's robes in Frank's flat.
If Frank has torn away a piece of Mary's robe, all this story must be really important. I'm sorry, my child, but the relic we have here isn't original. It's just a copy. Not many people know that during the terrible fire in the town in 1194, the Knights Templars took the original and hid it in a very secret place.
And do you know where this place is?
I know it's in Rome, with hundreds of other original relics, but I don't know precisely where it's kept. I can only tell you that many ancient books tell the story of a Knights Templar group that took it and traditionally hid it in a secret place that only the most wise and courageous men could enter.
Are you in charge here?
No, not really. Actually, the person who's in charge here lives on the higher floors. But if we want to talk earthly, yes, I'm in charge here, though only spiritually.
Are there many cathedrals named Notre Dame, like the famous one in Paris?
Actually, it's a quite common mistake to think that there's only one Notre Dame. Notre Dame are simply the French words for Our Lady, and they obviously refer to the Virgin Mary. As you can imagine, there are a lot of monuments and buildings around the world that have been built to honor Mary. And many of them have their names accompanied by the words Notre Dame, especially in France.
Father, have you ever heard of the Imago Sanctissimus? Some people say it holds the meaning of life.
Many years have passed since the last time I heard that name. And I noticed that nothing has changed. Listen, my child. The meaning of life cannot be found in a relic or in a monument. The meaning of life is everywhere. Around us, in trees, in animals, in the eyes of those near you. I'm old. Probably older than you think. And I've seen many people throwing away their lives, searching for the meaning of life. Poor people who never managed to understand that the meaning of life is in front of every one of us. You only need to stop a second, open your eyes, and look around you to understand what the true meaning of life is.
What's that labyrinth I saw on the floor in the center of the cathedral?
Many intellectuals have passed years studying that labyrinth. But ironically, they lost themselves in there. In the center of the labyrinth, you can see a rose. It's a symbol that can be found in many cathedrals. It symbolizes the constellation Virgo. And as you may know, the name Virgo comes from Latin and means virgin. But what's most special about this labyrinth is that every 15th of August, the day when we celebrate Mary, a sun ray enters the cathedral through the rose window that represents the Virgin Mary and ends precisely on the rose on the floor.
Maybe next year I'll be here for the 15th of August then.
It would be useless. Because of the precession of the equinoxes, nowadays the sun ray passes through the rose window on the 20th of August.
It's really incredible what human intellect can do.
More than intellect. I'd call it passion and devotion to God. Anyway, If you're interested in these subjects, you'll be happy to know that nearly a century ago, a famous Egyptologist named Schwana-de-Lubisch studied the proportions of the labyrinth and found out that the proportions are exactly the same as the ones of the most complex ancient Egyptian temples. It seems that inside this labyrinth, secrets of an ancient Egyptian sect could be hidden too. One thing is for sure. The Templars knew how to inculcate fear and curiosity to mankind.
Thank you, Father. Your words have been wise and encouraging, especially in this difficult moment. I really have to go now. It was a pleasure meeting you, and thank you for all your help. If you find some tomato sauce on one of the columns outside of the cathedral, please don't be cross.
Wait, where are you going?
Strange group of people. I didn't think flower power still existed. Well, I'm glad they were kind enough to suggest I go to the Vatican museums first. And this map and guide to the monuments they gave me will be useful here in Rome. I haven't been to Italy for ages. Last night's trap in Chartres must have been set by Twinings, but I'll be safe here until I find out that I'm in Italy. I wonder where Joe is now. It's a map of Rome, a little present from those funny hippies. This guide is full of information about all the monuments in Rome. Another present from those nice hippies. Not many know that this obelisk is authentic, and it is from ancient Egypt, from around the 12th century BC. One of my favorites.
Benvenuti at the Vatican Museum. We have not much visitors today. How can I be helping you? I am here to serve you.
I'm looking for some information on the burning of the Borgo. Can you help me?
The burning of the Borgo. Sorry, but I don't understand the English very well. Wait, you are talking of the Incendio del Borgo, of Raffaello. We have it in here, in the Vatican Museum.
Great. Could I please have a look at it?
I am very sorry, but they are cleaning inside the museum. Only official staff can enter.
I understand they are cleaning the museum, but if so, where is everyone?
They are gonna take a break. And knowing them, it will take them a long time, eh?
It's quite difficult to understand your English, but can I go inside the ancient Vatican library?
No. It is not possible. Only the Pope can make you enter.
I know that, but surely a strong Italian man like you can help me get in.
Sorry, it is not me who decides who gets in the old library.
Well, I'm sure you can let me have at least a quick look inside the museum.
Oh, mamma mia! I get into trouble if I let you enter the museum.
Please, it's really important that I enter the museum.
Okay, but only because you look like a good person. And you have very wonderful eyes. But be quick.
Really? Thanks. You're my savior.
Yes, please be careful inside.
This fresco shows the story of Constantine's vision just before the battle against Maxentius. The legend says that he was told he would have won the battle if he'd only changed his bearings from the Roman eagle to the Christian cross. This symbolically meant a move from paganism to Christianity. Constantine, the first Roman emperor, had to accept the Christian faith. I'm really curious to know what would have happened to our world today if the ancient Romans hadn't accepted Christian faith. This fresco statue reminds me of the ancient Greek caryatids. This fresco statue reminds me of the ancient Greek caryatids. Men shown on these frescoes are emperors and sovereigns who once were very famous protectors of the church. Raphael's famous fresco that represents the burning of Rome in 847 AD. They say that Pope Leo IV extinguished the flames by just blessing them with his hands. It's interesting that in this fresco, 3 of the most important Greek capitals can be seen: Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian. This little scene is taken from the burning of Troy in Virgil's Aeneid. The man is Aeneas with his old father Anchises on his shoulders, and little Ascanius is just close to them. It's incredible how many classic and pagan images there are hidden in Christian art. Pope Leo IV. Start your voyage remembering the burning of the Borgo in Rome. Burn the hand of God and follow his sign. The hand of God should be the Pope. The Pope is pointing at the ceiling, but I don't see anything particular on the ceiling. Wait a sec. These clues were written by the Templars, and it's well known that in the past many popes wanted to destroy the Templar order. So maybe, symbolically, the hand of God could mean the opposite of where the hand is pointing. This means I should look precisely near that locked wooden door over there. There's a strange hole inside this decorated wall. It's a hole. Burn. It's exactly what I've done. A magnetic cylinder. If it was so difficult to find, it must be quite important. A little magnetic cylinder. Do the words, "Follow this sign to the last bricks of the Palace of Rosicrucian. Here an arrow will guide you," mean something to you?
Let me think. Maybe it's about the Villa Palombara. The Rosicrucians went there in the past to talk about alchemy and other things.
And you know where I can find this villa?
Destroyed! Now there is a piazza where the villa was before.
Destroyed?
Yes, but don't worry. The most important piece of the villa is still there. They call it the alchemical door, or magical door. Before destroying the Villa Palombara, they brought in the magical door in a little park in the Piazza Vittorio Emanuele II.
Great. I'll go there straight away then. Thank you so much.
Wait! I tell you the legend of the magical door if you want. The story tells that Palombara has built it many centuries ago when a strange man visited him one night. The door is full of strange symbols, alchemy, magic, and such things. Nobody knows how to read them. Some people say that the strange man was the devil, and that the door is the entrance to hell. Others say that if you translate the magic symbols, you possibly find out the secret of the Philosopher's Stone. I don't know if these stories are true, but I surely know that I am always afraid walking near the door at night. Please be careful, Bellamy.
What I like most about Rome is that when walking around, you never know what ancient monument you'll find. Even the air has an ancient aroma, at least when the cars and buses aren't polluting it. They represent the ancient Egyptian god Bes. During medieval times, people considered him to be a kind of good luck dwarf. These statues are quite disturbing. So this is the famous magic door. They say it hides the secret of the Philosopher's Stone. An arrow will guide you. Okay then, let's have a look at this more carefully. This one-eyed pyramid somehow reminds me of the symbol printed on the $1 notes. Fascinating. This arrow is indicating some far-off place. The center of this circle has worn stone borders, as if someone had managed to move or push it a long time ago. Hey, now it's moving. It must be some kind of ancient magnetic mechanism invented by a very creative alchemist. A little magnetic cone, similar to the cylinder I found before. Now I can truly say that this has become a real treasure hunt. A little magnetic cone. Okay, I've used my lipstick to trace a line on the map following the arrow's direction. I've used my lipstick to draw a line that shows the direction of the arrow on the magic door, but there are too many monuments along this line. I have to find some other clue. In the sentence, the most important remembrances of ancient Rome, the eye of man to the sky. The eye of man to the sky. It's so easy. There's a hole in the roof of the Pantheon. Besides, it was built by the ancient Romans, and only lately, in around the year 600 AD, it was consecrated as a Christian church. Pantheon. The ancient Greek word means temple of all gods.
Sorry, miss, but the Pantheon is closed to the public.
Closed? What for? Restoration, maybe?
I honestly don't know. Now please, let me continue my work.
You know, I've always been very attracted to men wearing uniforms.
Well, what? Do you think policemen here in Italy are fools? That a couple of sweet eyes can control us? You better go now, or I'll call some of my colleagues.
I'm one of the historians sent to check and study the interior of the Pantheon.
Sorry, but that trick is as old as the Pantheon itself.
Damn. I have to find a way to get inside. I have to find a way to distract that policeman while I sneak in. A traditional Roman bar. of it. Maybe you could help me with...
No problem, Bella Mia. You know that you can come with any problem to your friend Aldo.
Thanks, but how are you going to...
Don't worry. Leave Aldo to do the work.
Are you always this nice to tourists?
No. It is that I like you. Maybe we can go together, huh? To Sora Anselma for a pizza later.
Yes, maybe. I think it's one of the Christian altars Pope Boniface IV ordered to put here. The tomb is adorned with scented roses, just as if they had died a week ago. Interesting. The tomb is relatively new. This means that even nowadays, the Templar Order is continuing to update all the security mechanisms created to protect all the Templar treasures hidden around the world. I bet I know what I've got to do with this hole. Click, and done. And here's another magnetic key. Who knows what mysteries this one will open up for me? A little magnetic pyramid. Light shines down from the roof inside the Pantheon, passes through the crystals, and arrives directly down here. Yuck. I hope there aren't too many spiders around. That face isn't very encouraging. And here's the crypt's most important piece. Good. Now let's work out the next riddle. It looks like these little stones are linked to the mirrors up there. I have to find the right combination to reflect the light beam accurately on the mirrors. No, the combination is wrong. I must start from the beginning. are Mary's original robes. There's a piece of a secret message written on them. I have to send a photo of these words to Jonathan.
I've got a strange feeling of déjà vu, Mr. Dantera. What about you? Nice move, calling from a public telephone.
Inspector, please believe me. This isn't a joke. I've got nothing to do with this story, and I certainly haven't killed anyone.
I know.
What do you mean, you know?
We found your friend Damien's body. You should thank him, you know. As we searched his flat, we found proof that Coletti had committed the murder. Damien managed to film him on his webcam, just as Coletti was threatening him with a gun.
So you think Coletti's the killer?
No, we don't. We're sure that Coletti sold the information and handed over Damien and your uncle to someone. But he didn't kill them. The timing of the two murders rules out Coletti as the killer.
He did shoot the two officers, though.
Yes, that's true. And probably that's why he was found dead in his cell a couple of hours ago.
That's what you might call divine justice, eh?
Divine justice has nothing to do with it. It's more like revenge.
Well, whatever. He certainly deserved it. But what about me and Catherine? Do you still have arrest warrants out for us?
I've already dealt with that. You're free to go. But we've still got to open the safe deposit box at the airport. The CIA agents who arrived here yesterday are visibly annoyed by the delays these recent events have caused. Please don't get into any further trouble in the next few hours. And then we'll be able to open that damn box and have a look inside it to see whether its contents can be used to help us find out who murdered your uncle. You'll then be free to go back to America if you want, Mr. Dantera.
Thank you, Inspector. When will Damien's funeral be held?
After we get the results of the autopsy. Here, before leaving, take your uncle's keys. Your friend had them. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a lot of work to do. Just please try not to get into any more trouble.
It must be Cat.
Joe, I saw they'd arrested you in front of the cathedral. I was hiding nearby. I'd been following up the lead from the sentence that you'd found written on the column and decided to go to Rome. I hope I'll soon find some way of proving your innocence. Get in touch with me as soon as you can. I've just found the rest of Mary's dress here in Rome, and I've sent you the photo on the communicator. I hope Twining's wasn't too awful with you. I'll be on the first flight back to London, so hope to see you soon.
That's strange. Cat should have been back here in London by now. I'll ask Arthur. He might know where she is. I must get the piece of parchment back. We left it with Damien. Let's hope it's still in his flat. I really hope Cat hasn't ended up in trouble trying to recover this.
Jonathan, I'm really happy to see that you're safe and sound.
How are you? After Damien's death, I was afraid I wouldn't find you alive.
Thanks, Jonathan, but there's no need to worry. This old man has still a couple of tricks hidden behind this wheelchair.
Have you managed to find out anything interesting about the piece of parchment we found in Frank's flat?
No. I need to see it again to get more information. But I think Damien had it, and now it could be lost. We have to get it back.
Have you heard anything from Kat?
Last time I heard from her, she was in Rome. She told me they had captured you. But one of my secret police informers has already told me that you and Kat are free now.
We should thank poor Damien for that. He managed to get the evidence we needed to rescue us just before dying.
He really was a great boy. We have to find out who is really responsible for his death.
See you later.